In my neck of the woods, and what I have learned in the last 14 years is weather, although it's always changing, and weather has always changed, it seems to be getting a little more intense lately. Now, some people might say it's climate change. Some people might say it's just the region of where you live. Some people might say it's a seasonal change, but for whatever the reason, weather changes. And it's so important that you know that when you're raising your chickens in a coop outdoors, it is a non-climate controlled situation. So non-climate controlled means you are not raising your chickens in a big metal building that has proper ultraviolet light, heat and temperature control on wire cages. You are raising your chickens outdoors. And at any time you could have, depending upon the weather in your area and the seasonal changes, you could have a sudden downpour, you could have a hailstorm, you could have inches of rain, or you could have a heat wave. But the weather will always change. These are facts. So you need to be prepared to understand that the stronger breeds of your chickens are going to do much better. The strong breeds of your chickens are going to do much better in changing weather conditions rather than your delicate little pet chickens. Your strong breeds will do much better in the weather conditions that change quite a lot. That's why I recommend you get 80% strong chickens and 20% delicate pet chickens. But so with the weather changing, you need to understand when you build your coop, is it on a slope? Will the water run down and be stagnant and be inches of water where my chickens are standing? Is it on the side of a hill where the wind could blow over your coop and crack it? Is it under too much shade? The chickens need at least 50% sunlight. Chickens will need sunlight each and every day. Chickens are going to need between 8 to 10 hours of proper ultraviolet light. Whether you hang an ultraviolet light, a full spectrum light bulb, or whether they're getting the sunshine coming into their coop, the chickens are going to need the right kind of light. So you need to be aware of the weather conditions in your area before you build your coop. You need to have the right amount of sunlight, daylight, the right slope where you're going to be putting your coop. Are you near standing water? Is the soil too sandy? Is the soil too muddy? So you need to have the proper conditions for your chickens. And as an emergency, to be prepared, you're going to need to have thick plastic to maybe wrap around your coop. Look at the wind conditions. Is your coop on top of a hill? Will the wind be blowing through? Look at the winter conditions before you build your coop. If you have a movable coop, that's one thing, but if you build a coop that's permanent, is the north wind going to come? You want to stay away from the north wind. That can bring icy conditions. We don't know where you're living right now. Is the weather, again, where you're going to have flooding conditions? So look at the big picture of the weather in your area. Make sure you're close enough to electricity if you want to hang electrical lights. There's a lot of great solar-powered lights out there you can use for increasing the amount of daylight for your chickens. So look at the big package. Be aware of the weather for your chickens. Be aware of changing weather conditions. Make sure your wire is strong and that your coop can withstand the changing weather, and that you have the right place for the right breed for your chickens. Weather will always be a concern for you, because in our state of Texas, here in Texas, we can have a 90-degree day and the temperature can drop down to 30, sometimes 30, 40, 50, 60 degrees in a matter of hours. Why is that a concern for you? Well, your chicken coop is in a non-climatized area. The chickens are going from 90 degrees down to 30 degrees. Chickens eat bacteria. The bacteria is ingested, it goes into their gut system, and the next day it goes from 30 degrees back up to 80 or 90 degrees again. The stronger, hardy, durable chickens can withstand that kind of sudden changing. They're going to be great during these weather changes. The very frail and fragile breeds might not make it through. So you need to understand the weather conditions, not only where you put your coop and how you put your chickens in there, but the weather conditions can also determine your chicken's health. So you get the right breed of chickens, and you have to understand that when the weather changes 30, 40, 50 degrees, the stronger breed chickens can withstand the weather changes. Not all chickens can. So it's very important that you are aware of sudden changing weather conditions in your area and be prepared for it by having the proper coop area, the proper lighting, and the proper way to drain your coop in case of flooding or snow. Thank you all again for attending here at Blue Star Ranch. We really appreciate you attending our shows, and keep learning here at Blue Star Ranch and keep coming back. We thank you very much. You too can be an expert.